Welcome home, brave heroes. I'm Ash, this is Ash Quest, and as you can see, we're back in the dark, deep dungeons of Iron Helm. Recently, I unboxed the massive expansion for Iron Helm called Iron Chest. Be not fooled by its small size. There is an epic amount of content in this expansion for Jason Glover's narrative dungeon crawler, but there is so much more content to reveal. And so today, we are going to be opening the Iron Helm Dungeon Deck number 2, The Howling Abyss, which has 18 dungeon cards. This video will be a part of a series of the booster unboxing, as well as an overall video that will encapsulate all of the booster pack reveals. I don't want to ruin my card pack here, so I'm actually going to see if I can open this in the least destructive way possible. It looks like it's pretty difficult to open the bag of chips style. They don't want to risk damaging the cards inside. I can see that there is a place to tear this, but I really don't want that to travel along the beautiful artwork on the front. I realize how meticulous I'm being here, but it's because of my appreciation for the materials that I have to be this careful. There we go. Now I can preserve the integrity of the presentation while unboxing the dungeon deck. Here are our 18 dungeon cards to go with the base game of Iron Helm. And this is called the Dungeon Deck number 2 because the first dungeon deck is already in the game system. There's not a separate expansion called the Dungeon Deck number 1. This is 18 dungeon cards that will increase the difficulty of your game. There's no introduction, there's no description on the pack itself. So let's explore the Dungeon Deck number 2. This is, by the way, available through thegamecrafter.com. I'll put a description in the link below, or the way that sentence would make sense if I said it right. Also, shout out to the beautiful, classy artwork from Jason Glover and Daniel Walthall. So many original illustrations for this. Being that these are dungeon deck cards, we are going to see the beautiful artwork, the expansion symbol in the corners of the card, the specific number of the card itself, and 2 outcomes. This is because the way that Iron Helm is played, you will generally reveal one of the cards from the dungeon deck, and you will choose whether to resolve the text in the top block of the first card, or after analyzing the challenge and weighing the pros and cons, draw a second card in order to be forced to resolve the text in the bottom block. In this way, you generate your own dungeon experience. You're not just pushed along a grindstone path. It's not a dungeon crawler on rails. You may describe this game as a this or that, or a push your luck. Sometimes you'll make a decision that ends up being good, sometimes about the same, and sometimes you'll lose out epically. But for our first card, Ambush, the first possibility is you catch your foe by surprise and gain the upper hand. Draw an enemy card and ignore their initial damage. Add 3 damage to your first attack. Add the dungeon level to the enemy's health. This means you've ambushed the enemy, which is awesome. Or 2, your foe catches you by surprise, gaining the upper hand. Draw an enemy card and add the dungeon level to their initial damage. Add the dungeon level plus 5 to their health. This would be a pretty crappy one to draw as your second card, but obviously an awesome one to draw as your first card. Remember, we shuffle these dungeon cards in between dungeon levels, so the possibility of getting ambush could be at any moment. Mushroom Grove, the first possibility being you have located a grove of young mushrooms. You can gain 1 poison, 1 ration, or 2 rations by rolling a single die and following this table. If this is the second choice, the second card that you draw, you find yourself standing in a grove of mature mushrooms. It's a similar table, but this time you can gain 1 ration, 2 ration, or 3 rations, dropping the possibility of getting a poison and adding the possibility of getting another extra ration. For our next card, Skirmish. You draw your weapon and are ready for battle. Draw an enemy card and add the dungeon level to their health. This is a pretty bog standard encounter. Or 2, you are taken off guard and stumble for your weapon. Draw an enemy card and add the dungeon level plus 4 to their health. Gain 1 extra bonus gold if you defeat this enemy. Well, it's like a Sour Patch Kid. First it's sour, then it's a little bit sweet. Altar. There's only one possibility here. Sometimes a sanctuary is found in the least expected place. You stumble to the altar and pray for what? A blessing to gain 1 blessing token? Strength to gain 2 energy? Healing to discard d6 minus d6 poison tokens? Or favor, move up 1 space on the morality tracker? Make your choice carefully. False idol. Your eyes lock onto a huge evil statue carved into the wall. It is begging to be worshipped. What shall you do? Beg for power? Move down 1 space on the morality tracker, but gain 2 energy and 1 loot card. Beg for wealth, move down 1 space on the morality tracker but gain 2 gold and 1 potion card. Beg for your life, move down a space on the morality tracker and gain 2 health and 1 ration. Or ignore the false idol and move up 1 space on the morality tracker, losing 1 health. What does he do? Open his mouth and launch a fireball at you when you walk away? Our next card is Savage Encounter. Before you stands a formidable foe. Draw 2 enemy cards and discard the enemy with less health. You must fight the remaining enemy, adding the dungeon level +1 to their health. If tied, the player can choose. Or 2, there is no escaping this vile creature. Draw 4 enemy cards and discard the 3 enemies with the least health. You must fight the remaining enemy that has the most health, adding the dungeon level +3 to their health. Labyrinth. Surely your cunning will see you out of this wizard's maze. Discard 1 ration. If you have no rations, lose 3 health, gain 1 gold. Or Drat, you cannot seem to find your way out. Discard 2 rations, lose 3 health for each ration you cannot discard, and gain 1 potion. A second ambush card. A second skirmish card. A merchant. Deep in the dungeon seems like a strange place to set up shop, but who are you to question his sanity? You may take any number of the following actions. Buy, to see what goods the merchant has, draw 3 loot and 2 potion cards. Sell, the merchant will buy any unwanted items for you for 1 gold each. Or trade. You may swap any single item you have with an item that the merchant has, as long as the item you give him is a greater value than the one you take. Archangel. A flash of holy light causes you to freeze. When the brightness fades, you see the form of a woman with large wings. She has come to judge your deeds. Check your placement on the morality tracker and refer to the chart below. Depending on your morality tracker placement, you can actually gain a lot of health, nothing will happen, or you can lose health. The Archangel actually has the power to judge you to death if you are low enough on the morality tracker. Another Savage Encounter card. Another ambush card. A treasure card. You find an open chest that has been recently looted. A single coin remains. You may gain 1 gold. Or, this chest must have been forgotten to time, as it is brimming with loot. Draw 1 loot card and 1 potion card, or gain d6 gold and 1 ration. Arrow Trap. Your curiosity with the ruby-eyed statue comes at a cost. You can gain 2 poison, 1 poison, or no poison if you're lucky. Or your greed has you walking blindly into a storm of arrows. Gain 3, 2, or 1 poison. Campsite. You have spied a relatively quiet location to set up camp. It will not be long before you attract attention to yourself. Choose one of the following actions. Cook. Spend 1 ration to gain 3 energy. Or search. Gain 1 ration and 1 gold. Or rest. Spend 1 ration to gain 3 health and lose 1 poison. Clearing. Anything can happen in a clearing. Draw and resolve a plot card. And finally, Mystical Fountain. Before you stands a grand fountain. You are drawn to it by a potent allure. Your eyes wide open, you cup your hand and ladle the warm liquid to your lips. There are 6 possibilities here, ranging from draw an enemy card, adding the dungeon level to its health, to you immediately regret your actions, gain 1 poison, to what luck, you find 1 gold, to you suddenly feel quite refreshed, gain 3 health, 2. A gift is granted to you, gain 1 potion. 2. Gain blessing tokens equal to your current dungeon level. And that is the Iron Helm Dungeon Deck number 2, The Howling Abyss. The Iron Helm Adventure Pack number 1, Warren of Despair. This comes with 1 character card, 1 boss card, 1 skill card, 2 trappings cards, 4 loot cards, 3 plot cards, 5 enemy cards, and 1 map card, and is a level 2 adventure for players of Iron Helm. We'll begin this by opening the pack very carefully from a slit on the side, which I will now create with my scissors. I wanted to be careful to preserve the package quality. I didn't want to destroy the artwork. Warren of Despair. Skills, plots, enemies, loot, map, trappings, bosses, and characters are all present here. The character for this expansion is Oslo. Oslo has 17 health, 10 energy, 12 encumbrance, and comes with 1 ration and 2 gold. His trappings include the battle axe, and his skill is axe mastery. The battle axe is a 2-handed weapon with an encumbrance of 3. Die results of 1 deal 6 damage, but this pack also comes with the Brooch of Penance. You gain 2 blessings at the altar instead of 1. The skill is axe mastery. When using an axe, you may re-roll all die results of 1 or 2. It is a brawn-based skill. The loot for this expansion, the loot for this adventure pack includes an energy potion, a shuriken, a frost mimic, a lucky charm, and wait a minute, the frost mimic is loot? So this is kind of like the wandering monster of this. I love how you can avoid this conflict by spending 2 rations. The enemies of the Warren of Despair include the Grunkle and the Blink. It's a warren, but there are no rabbits, unless that's the boss. No, the boss is the Cyclops featured on the cover art. If the Cyclops deals 9 or more damage, he breaks your primary weapon. What business do any of the monsters have in this game dealing 9 damage in one hit? The plot cards include The Alchemist, where you can buy a potion or rob the blind man. The Golden Urn, where you can leave an offering, or, who will miss this, as in steal things. And the Ecclesiastic. This encounter can grant you the Brooch of Penance. And if you already have it, she'll grant you a random potion from the potion deck and a blessing token, regardless of your morality position. Here's the map for our level 2 adventure. Raiding parties of grunkles have reportedly been looting villages in the north. Rumor has it that they are being led by a large one-eyed frost giant. Someone should investigate. To play this proper, remove the following cards from the base game and replace them with the cards found in this adventure pack: the goblins, orcs, and skinklings, the plots of the old woman, the wolf, and the corpse. The boss of this adventure pack is the Cyclops, and that is the Warren of Despair. The Iron Helm Loot and Lore Pack, a companion booster meant to complement the base adventure. This comes with 1 tavern and instruction card, 3 character cards, 3 skill cards, 3 trapping cards, 3 loot cards, 2 plot cards, and 2 potion cards. So, adding a few more characters to our base game, as well as giving us a tavern and instruction. I love that. Let's open this very carefully by cutting a slit onto the side. I can see where you could easily just rip the side off, but I don't want to rip across the package accidentally, destroying the lovely artwork. And here are our cards, protected by these paper bindings. We'll just rip these off. We don't care if these get damaged. Character, loot, plots, potions, skills, trappings, and the Lonely Troll. Loot and Lore is an expansion to the base game of Iron Helm and is meant to complement the core game. Simply add all the cards from this pack to their corresponding deck. You will later be able to remove them at ease due to the icons in the upper left and right corners if you wish to return to the original state. Loot and Lore adds more variety to the game and adjusts the game slightly in a few ways that we will leave for you to discover. On the reverse side of this card, you will find the Lonely Troll card. This card is to be referred to when you defeat a boss and complete an adventure and wish to continue to another. It instructs you on how to reset your character and also gives you a couple of other options for in-between adventures. The Lonely Troll. In between adventures, you find rest at the Lonely Troll, where you may do the following. 1. Refresh your health and energy to their starting levels and remove all poison. 2. You may spend your gold on any items in the trappings deck. 3. You may trade in any remaining enemy cards as trophies, gaining 1 gold each. Let us take a look at the characters and their respective trappings and skills, starting with Scrawl. Trappings, trophy, and mace. Skill, treasure hunter. She's a brawn-based character with 15 health, 10 energy, 11 encumbrance, starting with 2 rations and 3 gold. She starts with the trophy and mace, the mace being a base game component, the trophy being a feature of this companion booster. The trophy allows you, once per dungeon level, to reroll all your dice results in combat. It is offhand equipment, meaning she's always going to be walking around with that skull. Whenever you gain a gold coin for defeating an enemy, you also gain 1 energy. That is Treasure Hunter. It is a mind-based skill. The next character is Azra. Trappings, Spetum. Skill, Fortitude. She's an agility-based character with 13 health, 12 energy, 10 encumbrance, and starts with 1 ration and 4 gold. The Spetum is a 2-handed weapon. Whenever you roll doubles in combat, add 3 damage to your sum. Her skill is Fortitude, a brawn-based skill, plus 1 health whenever you drink a health potion. You no longer increase your poison level at the end of the round. Our last character with this pack is Kiln Olma. Her trappings are the Dusk Shroom, and her skill is Martial Arts. She's a mind-based warrior with 11 health, 13 energy, 10 encumbrance, and starts with 2 rations and 2 gold. The Dusk Shroom can be discarded to gain 2 energy and 2 health. The Martial Arts agility-based skill means you do not need a hand weapon to roll dice in combat. Your bare-fisted attacks deal 2 damage instead of 1 in combat. The loot that comes with this companion booster includes an emerald, a fate coin, which, when asked to draw a plot card, discard the fate coin to draw 2 plot cards, to pick one and discard the other, and the Grave Stomper. When fighting an undead enemy and you roll doubles, add 4 to the sum of your attack. And the following potions, which include an energy potion and an energy potion. And the following plot cards, which include In Dire Need, in which you can defend the pigman or keep moving on, As an enjoyer of Tin Helm, I'll probably always help the pigman when I can. The Chasm, in which you can toss the stranger their pack or keep the bag for yourself. And the Well, in which you can drink from the well and gain one of 6 possible outcomes. Or not drink from the well and gain one of 1 possible outcome. And that is the Loot and Lore pack. Iron Helm, the Fanny pack. A glorious booster full of promos and fan-created content. What mysteries lie within? Well, I hope these mysteries don't lie. I want them to be truthful. Why would the mysteries attempt to trick you? They're already mysteries. Once you solve them, I think that they should be quite forthcoming after the solutions arrive. We'll open this very carefully, and we are met with, the Fanny pack. Here it is. One side of the card has delicious art. 2 adventurers braving the dungeon, not noticing what lurks just beyond. And they really should, because look what happened to these 2. The Fanny pack is a booster pack for Iron Helm meant to complement the base game. It can also be used with any other expansion pack to enhance your experience. The best part of this booster pack is that the majority of the content was created by fans of the game, and that is quite special. That is why it is called the Fanny pack. Special thanks to those fans of Iron Helm for their amazingly creative contributions. And here is a list, hence, of those special creators. That is pretty awesome. Imagine how cool it would be if HeroQuest came out with a fan-created pack, an official one. We have 6 unique mini decks that come with this 18-card booster pack meant for Iron Helm. Let's take a look first at the enemies. We get the giant spider because evidently there was not a giant spider already in the official base game of Iron Helm, and just dungeon crawlers can't go without having giant spiders. We have to have our giant spiders. Not in real life, never in real life, but in our dungeons, yes. The Pit Trap, finally some traps in our solo dungeon crawl. If resolving an ambush card that was drawn as the first card, you avoid the Pit Trap. In all other cases, you lose d6 minus d6 health. More flesh-eating Morlocks, you may discard a torch or use a lamp to defeat the Morlock before taking initial damage. A second Pit Trap. And the Assassin. If resolving an ambush card that was drawn as the second card, the Assassin gets to inflict initial damage twice. He's pretty weak though. We could take out the Assassin easily. Nah, I'd win. Next, we'll look at the characters that this pack introduces. Fan-made characters, Grimwald, trappings, the Iron Helm, and skill, shield block and appraise. He's a brawn-based character with 15 health, 11 energy, 10 encumbrance, 1 ration, and 2 gold. His trappings and skill all already in the game, the base game system. In other words, they don't come with the Fanny pack because they don't need to. And then Nanok the Barbarian. Nanok the Barbarian. In my opinion, if his name is going to be Nanok, then he shouldn't be a barbarian. He should be a Nairabrab. Trappings, Fanny pack, skill, parry. Nanok has 18 health, 12 energy, 6 encumbrance. He can't encumber very much? What? He's a barbarian. Oh, he truly is a Nairabrab. Only 6 you've got to be kidding me. 1 ration and 3 gold, and he is shown indeed here with a Fanny pack. Okay, alright. So, I mean, I get he's our titular character here. He's on the cover of the pack, albeit with different art. But what barbarian is really going to go around with a Fanny pack? Doesn't matter. Fanny pack is in our trappings deck. When equipped, you may carry up to 3 accessories without affecting your encumbrance. That's awesome. That's actually really cool. All right. So the 6 encumbrance now makes sense because he carries, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Potion of Luck and Magic Acorn. Discard to defeat any enemy except a boss. You may keep the card in order to learn a skill, but you gain no treasure. Let's check out the loot that comes with the Fanny pack. A keepsake, that's creepy. While the keepsake is in your inventory, you gain 2 morality. The Greedy Zweihänder. You may add an additional die to your attack roll at the cost of 1 gold. Wow, so this thing is like alive. It's like the singing sword, but it's like, give me gold? I like it. Secure the bag. The Talhofer Buckler. Subtract 1 from initial damage, plus 1 damage to the sum of attack rolls. May be used with 2-handed weapons. What? So you get a little bit of a debuff to your attack, but you're already using a 2-handed weapon, and this is an extra damage to the sum of attack rolls. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I like that. The Undeath Potion. Discard to destroy any undead foe with 5 or less base health, or discard to make any enemy weak to undead attacks. And that's the loot deck. We'll next check out the singular artifact that comes with this. It's a heart capsule. Oh, I get it. I love that. Very, very Zelda-esque. When equipped, add 2 to your maximum health or discard to gain 2d6 health. That's pretty awesome. Finally, we'll check out the 2 plots that come with this. One is the Goblin King. You may avoid this conflict by discarding loot and trappings cards with a total combined value of 4 or more. Goblin King is just trying to make money. And the Looking Glass, in which you can walk into the looking glass or ignore the reflective wall. We'll read this one. As you approach the clearing, you see another walking in your direction. You quickly realize you are gazing into a mirror that covers an entire wall. You put your hand to it and your hand pushes through. You can come to the other side and become face to face with an enemy, draw and resolve an enemy card, come to the other side and feel slightly larger, add 1 to your max encumbrance, or discard the next 4 cards in the dungeon deck without looking at them. If you're in between levels, discard the first 4 cards of the next level. Fairly interesting. This might change your game of Iron Helm in very fascinating ways. And this is an additive expansion, an additive booster pack. You don't actually have to replace anything from your deck or the game like some of the other boosters require you to do in order to enjoy it. So once you get this one mixed in there, you might not be inclined to take it back out. And that is the Fanny pack. Iron Helm Adventure Pack number 2, Blackened Burrow. This is a level 3 adventure that contains 1 character card, 1 boss card, 1 skill card, 2 trappings cards, 4 loot cards, 3 plot cards, 5 enemy cards, and a map card. We'll commence with opening this very carefully so that I can keep the booster pack in as pristine condition as possible. Out slides the pack, and it's wrapped in a belt. Is it a belt or is it a cravat? We begin with the map card. Now, these are always pretty inconsequential as far as mechanics go. They're just 5 rooms, but the artwork is still super nice to see. It's still lovely to see the variation between the design of each dungeon, so I'm appreciative of that. And besides, it's the reverse of the instruction card, so you might as well do something really cool with it. This is the Blackened Burrow. Days of travel through the thirsty lands of Auldang have led you to the footsteps of a great stairway leading into the fiery depths below. What riches rest here? Remove the following cards from the base game and replace them with the cards found in this adventure pack. The zombies, wolves, and undead archers. The wolf, the pigman, and the prisoner plots. The boss of the Blackened Burrow is the Hive Mother. But we'll get to that. First, let's check out the new character that comes with this booster pack. This is Kara. She has 13 health, 11 energy, 9 encumbrance, and comes with 1 ration and 4 gold. Her trappings are an alchemy satchel, and her skill is hawking. Here's her alchemy satchel. When equipped, all potions have 0 weight. This booster also comes with the Cutlass trapping. Reroll all attack results of 1. At the beginning of each level, roll a d6 to see what your bird finds. This is the hawking skill results. On a 1 or 2, your bird locates nothing. On a 3 or 4, success, gain 1 gold coin, and on a 5 or 6, gain 1 ration. Sorry about the focus going crazy there. Time to check out the enemies of this expansion. The Ember Wasp. They don't deal damage, but if they successfully hit, they instead deal 1 poison and steal 1 energy, so kind of just as bad. The Embermander. If you defeat him, you may draw a random potion card instead of a loot card. And he secretes something. What is it? It's random. Another Ember Wasp, another Embermander, and another Ember Wasp. If you defeat these enemies, you may gain the following loot cards. Grubrot's Fang. Whenever your combat roll results in at least 1 matching pair, add 5 to your sum. That's pretty cool. Rena's Remedy. Discard to gain 4 health and 2 energy while suffering 1 potion. Poison, not potion. Read, Ash. Read the words. The Madman's Helm. I love that. Subtract 1 from initial damage and add 1 to the sum of your damage rolls. Once equipped, you may not remove it from your inventory. Mortal's Orb. Whenever you draw a skirmish card, you may look at the top enemy card before choosing to resolve. What are the plots that come with this booster? The Old Elm, in which you can rest under the elm or search around the elm. A choice of gaining 3 energy or 2 rations. The Fire Scorpion. If you defeat the Fire Scorpion, you gain 1 eyeball. Okay, not eyeball. It's like what you have to collect to progress. The Vagabond, in which you can give the man some food, or, well, he doesn't need that coin. You can lose a ration or gain a gold, but you'll move 1 up on the morality track or move down 1, respectively. And finally, the boss of this booster, the Hive Mother. Successful initial attacks double your current poison level. That's not good. It straight up doubles your poison level. Not good at all. You know, not adds to it, but doubles it. If it's already 2, it'll be 4. If it's already 4, it'll be 8. And the way poison works in this game is you really don't want your poison level to be at your health level. It's actually done in a pretty unique way. I really like it. All right, that is the Blackened Burrow. Iron Helm Adventure Pack number 3, Galnok's Labyrinth, a level 2 adventure containing 1 character card, 1 boss card, 1 skill card, 3 trappings cards, 3 loot cards, 3 plot cards, 5 enemy cards, and as always, a map card. We'll go ahead and get this booster pack opened up by sliding our scissors very carefully along the far edge because I really want to keep the artwork and the booster pack integrity. You don't know how many of these card packs I've ripped open as a kid, getting X-Men cards out of them and the like. Here's the map card for Galnok's Labyrinth. Doesn't seem very labyrinthine to me, but I don't really want to be puddling around those streams. Who knows what's in that water as I make my way to the central room. Looks like at least one adventurer made it so far. As the moon rises in the sky and the howls of nightmare creatures linger in the air, you find yourself at the entrance of a cave, maybe a good place to take a little rest. Remove the following cards from the base game and replace them with the cards found in this adventure pack. The Orc Warrior, the Goblin, the Wolf and Fishman, and the Old Woman, Passageway, and Wolf plots. The boss is Galnok. Special thanks to Ben Haskett for authoring the plot cards in this adventure. Nice. A little bit of fan content, or at least third-party authorship. Our character addition here is Aslar, with 12 health, 12 energy, 8 encumbrance, 2 rations, and 4 gold. His trappings include the Moon Dagger, and he has the skill of 6th Sense. He's agility-based. The Moon Dagger allows you to, once per dungeon level, if equipped, re-roll the results of an enemy's attack. This booster also comes with Holnot's Brew. Discard it to gain 3 energy, and a large backpack, plus 2 to your encumbrance allowance, plus 1 health when you rest at the camp. Aslar's skill, 6th Sense. Once per dungeon level, you may either avoid an ambush or reveal both dungeon cards and choose one to resolve, an agility-based skill. Let's check out the loot. Ooh, the Mask of Mizlak. You may avoid conflicts with any undead enemy of a base health 4 or less. Mizlak's Journal. Discard to reveal the top 5 cards in the loot deck. Discard any loot cards you wish, and then place the remaining cards face down back on top of the loot deck. And Mizlak's Stash. Discard immediately and draw 1 loot card, 1 potion card, and gain 1 ration or gain d6 gold and 1 ration. The enemies that come with this, let's see if they follow what has seemed to be a 3 and 2 enemy pattern. The Death Seer, immune to potions. The Floating Skull. Defeat the Floating Skull will move you up 1 on the morality track. There's the second Death Seer and the second Floating Skull and the third Floating Skull. It does follow the 3 and 2 enemy convention. Let's check out the Boss card. The boss for this is, of course, Galnok. If Galnok rolls doubles, he strikes with the value indicated on 1 of the dice. That's pretty nice. So if you roll double ones, he's just going to strike for 1, but that also means he's not going to miss. And Galnok's name backwards is Conlag. Oh, I guess it doesn't matter I guess that's not exactly the same as... Never mind. Plots. Revenge, in which you can learn how to spot a mimic, refuse, or have you already defeated the mimic? Oh, that's interesting. So I actually want to read the contents of this since this was authored by somebody else. Just to kind of honor that, you encounter a middle-aged woman leaning against a wall and massaging the stump where her left hand used to be. You gesture curiously to the diminished limb, and she explains that she has returned here to find and kill the thing responsible, a vicious monster that resembles a treasure chest. To learn how to spot a mimic, she declares that for 2 gold, she will teach you a trick to easily spot a standard mimic. If you take her up on the offer, you may look through the loot deck, remove the mimic from play, and then reshuffle the loot deck. You can refuse, scoffing at her offer and storming away. Or if you've already defeated the mimic, the woman pays you 2 gold when you tell her the tale of the encounter and the location it happened. That's pretty cool. I like that a lot. I actually think that's a really cool idea. A dubious dish. A sour smell leads you to an emaciated man cooking something in a small rusty pot. He motions you over and explains that he's unsure if the mushrooms he found are edible, but he's hungry enough to take his chances. He invites you to sit with him and then gestures to the pot. Help yourself, friend. Refuse, wishing him good luck and continuing on your way. Eat a bowl of mushroom soup. This is going to be even or odd when you roll a die. If it's even, restore 2 energy. If it's odd, restore 1 energy and gain 1 poison. Or feed the man. You kick the man's pot over and offer him a ration to eat instead. You can lose 1 ration but gain 1 blessing token and move up 1 on the morality track. Or the assailant. You hear a faint rustling behind you and turn just as something hard strikes you in the face. Lose 1 health. If you're still alive, continue. You stagger backwards and blink the pain away as a disheveled young man brandishing a large rock rushes towards you for another go. You disarm him easily and throw him to the ground. As he babbles nonsense, you raise the rock above your head and take in the sight of him. He appears to have been lost down here for weeks. Finish the job, rooting through his pockets when it's over and gaining 2 gold, or show mercy, tossing the rock aside and point the way out before leaving him there. You could gain 1 blessing token and move up 1 on the morality track, but it depends on what kind of character you're role-playing in this Iron Helm experience. As an aged adventurer with the option to move up or down on a morality tracker, surely you have nothing to fear if you decide to be a little immoral in this dangerous, deep, dark dungeon fantasy. Surely, right? And that is Galnok's Labyrinth. You had 1 passage that went straight to you. Whoever built you this labyrinth and told you it was a labyrinth sucked at their job. Ha! Loser. Iron Helm, Adventure Pack number 4. Crystal Caverns, featuring 1 character card, 1 boss card, 1 skill card, 2 trappings cards, 4 loot cards, 3 plot cards, 5 enemy cards, and 1 map card. This is a level 3 adventure, which means an uptick in difficulty for you Iron Helmers. We'll open this carefully as you please. That's 2 different fails. We'll have to resort to cutting along the edge directly. There we go. And we've got some cardboard sleeves, which I'm just going to destroy them with reckless abandon. I guess I could have just slipped that one over the top. I didn't have to absolutely destroy it. Here's our map card for Crystal Caverns, and they indeed look very crystally and very caverny. I can't wait to reach the center room and climb the steps to get this treasure chest, but I'm sure that there's some unnameable horror lurking in this gem-faceted jail. You can barely feel your frozen hands and face as you finally reach the entrance to the elusive Crystal Caverns. Rumors tell that great fortune and danger await. Remove the following cards from the base game and replace them with cards found in this adventure pack: the Skinkling, the Zombie, the Wolf, and the Fishman, the Shrine, Passageway, and Pigman plots. The boss is the Crystal Drake. Darn it, I just said he was unnameable. Let's check out the character that comes with this expansion. Brazwitz. Trappings, wool cloak, and dwarven blade. Skill, tactics. He's a mind-based hero with 13 health, 11 energy, 10 encumbrance, 1 ration, and 2 gold. For once, the 2 trappings that come with this expansion are the ones that are supposed to go with the hero. The dwarven blade adds 2 to the sum of your attack roll versus goblins, orcs, or trolls, and the wool cloak allows you to, once per level, subtract 1 damage from an initial attack. The skill of tactics means after you roll your attack, you may spend an additional energy to re-roll all of your dice, but you must use the new result. It's a mind-based skill. Let's check out the enemies that come with this crystalline catering: the Blizzling and the Ice Cube. The Ice Cube. This comes with a bunch more Blizzlings. Instead of 2 Ice Cubes and 3, we have 1 Ice Cube and 4 Blizzlings. But seriously, the Ice Cube. I love this. I love this more than I should. This is better than it has any right to be. This is funnier than it has any right to be. The Ice Cube does not miss when it rolls doubles. It just cubes on down the hall. Just like that song by the Dungeon Doors. I cubed on down the hall. The Loot, Zogar's Signet. Oh, I love that. Once per dungeon level, you may look through all the cards in the discard of the dungeon deck. The discard? Let's see, what did I discard? I guess there's probably, there's definitely strategy to doing that. You can see which rooms are no longer available if you're good at kind of counting cards to know what dungeon cards are still available in this dungeon to draw. Mortar and Pestle, +1 health when drinking a health potion, and +2 damage when using a potion to attack. The Deceptor, when drawing an enemy card, draw 2, pick 1, and then discard the other. Very cool. And then Troll Dung with the description of it happens. It happens. It's worth nothing. Sometimes you just find some troll dung. Sometimes nature finds a way. Let's check out the plots for this before going on to the bosses. The old book, in which you can attempt to approach the book or decide that reading is for dum-dums. The Ivory Spire. If the morality tracker is in the positive, then one of these results is forced on you. But if the morality tracker is in the negative, then the other result is forced on you. The Surly One, in which you can visit with the lost soul, leave the man be, or rob the man. And the boss, the Crystal Drake. If the Crystal Drake deals 8 or more damage, she destroys 1 of your equipped items. Your choice. The Crystal Drake is pretty tough, but this is a level 3 adventure, which means you're crossing the threshold to the latter half of your gaming experience with Iron Helm. The saga of your campaign for this character that you're playing, the character that you've rolled, is building towards its climax. got a little bit of ways to go, but that's the Crystal Caverns booster pack for you. Iron Helm Adventure Pack number 5, The Throne of Embers. This comes with 1 character card, a boss card, a skill card, 2 trappings cards, 4 loot, 3 plot, 5 enemy, and 1 map cards, and is a level 2 adventure. Carefully cutting along the side so that we don't damage the actual packaging itself. It's a me thing. All of our unique cards presented here. Here's our map card for the Throne of Embers, and it looks stunning. It's very straight line laid out, you could tell. This is a work of architecture, not of natural nature taking its natural course. Giant treasure chest here at the end of this room. I always appreciate the art on these cards. Throne of Embers. Rumors are afloat of majestic treasures deep within the mines of Talora, but those same tales tell of a monstrous creature far below the surface made of fire itself. Remove the following cards from the base game and replace them with the cards found in this adventure pack: the Orc and Cave Troll, and the Corpse Passageway and Old Woman plots, and the boss is, of course, a fire elemental. Let's check out the loot that comes with this booster. Olim's Slayer. Attack rolls of 5 or 6 each deal 3 additional damage to enemies weak to fire. Grazgol's Sting. Once per dungeon level, you may fire an arrow, dealing d6 damage before taking initial damage. The Cursed Horn. It's so beautiful. You must keep this item and may not drop or sell it. Olim's Shelter. Subtract 1 from both initial damage and counter strikes. Subtract an additional 1 from enemies weak to ice. And speaking of enemies, these enemies are added to the game. The Fire Bat. Oh, he's cute. Just looks like a regular bat. He's just a little guy, of which there are 3, and Lizardkin, of which there are 2. I approve of Lizardkin being in a fire-themed expansion. Let's take a look at the characters. The character that comes with this booster is Grimly. Finally, a goblin hero. Go Grimly! His trappings are Pilgrim Staff and Flask. His skill is Dash. He's agility-based with 14 health, 10 energy, 9 encumbrance, 2 rations, and 4 gold, as he should be. The Pilgrim Staff and the Flask are included. The Flask allows you to drink to gain 2 health, may only be used once but can be refilled at the campsite. And the Pilgrim Staff, +2 to the sum of your attack rolls versus undead enemies, must always reroll attack results of 6. And his skill of Dash. There he goes. Once per dungeon level, you may spend energy to avoid any dungeon card. Roll to see how much energy you spent. Half your energy, 1 energy, or no energy. This is an agility-based skill. The plots of this booster include Column of Fire, in which you can feed the fire or ignore the voices in your head. Fire, fire, excuse me. Or the Madman. Ask the man about the object or leave the man alone. It is mine, all mine, finally, I have it again. While holding an object wrapped in cloth, this is what the Madman says. He can spin away, disappearing in a puff of smoke. In his place, an enemy appears, draw and face a random enemy, or he'll hesitantly reveal the secret object. Just the sight of it fills you with power. The man quickly covers it and runs off, but you gain 2 energy. Or, the man will not show you the object, but instead hands you an item before disappearing into the shadows, and you'll get a random loot card. You could also just avoid making eye contact as you quietly make your way around him to the passage on the other side. I like that one. And the Old Goblin. I gotta read this one in its entirety because it's goblins. In the clearing, you spy an old goblin woman attempting to lower a bucket down into a well. Maybe it's Nilbog's mother. She is dressed like a shaman, but appears to be struggling to operate the well. Assist the old goblin? You walk towards the old goblin. She seems startled to see you, and even more so when you help her fetch some water. Yeah, that tracks. She returns the favor by handing you a random potion. Gain 1 random potion and lose 2 energy. Move up 2 on the morality track. Seems like a great trade. Or rob the old hag. You easily overpower the weak creature and take all her belongings. Gain 1 random potion and 2 gold. Move down 2 on the morality track. Don't do that. And the boss of this dungeon, the Fire Elemental, looking very rocky today. I guess your fire's just not hot enough to multinate, burninate that rock back into lava. It's okay. It happens as we get older. Old Fire Elemental. You old chap. What's he like then? If the Fire Elemental deals 8 or more damage, he destroys anything worn on your body. Now that doesn't mean all of your trappings, all of your armor, all the stuff you have equipped. It's just your body slot in your total equipment. He's aiming for the chest. So he's gonna melt through whatever you've got on, whether it's metal or magical or wood, rattan, whatever the case may be. Take him out as soon as you can so you don't suffer that loss in this level 2 adventure. And that is the Throne of Embers. It is time to reveal the most difficult of the booster packs available as a separate addition to Iron Helm outside of the Iron Chest. That would be this level 3 adventure pack, the adventure pack number 6, Malicia's Refuge. Malicia's Refuge will come with 1 character card, 1 boss card, 1 skill card, 2 trappings cards, 4 loot, 3 plot, 5 enemy, and 1 map card. And we'll cut into the side of the package very carefully and remove the contents of this adventure pack. This time, as Ash learns, the sleeve can just be slid off. Slide the sleeve. Every time I unpackage one of these, I have to sort out the different decks within. Now, this isn't the last of the uns. There's still the final adventure pack, which comes with Iron Chest, but we'll get to that one. Here is the map of Malicia's Refuge. And a fine refuge it is, because, yeah, who wants to journey through a dungeon that looks this complex and dangerous? Look at all these hiding spots in the corridors. You've got to cross a bridge to get to Malicia. You've got this weird thing going on in room number 3. There was no doubt where Malicia's lair was once your eyes took sight of the entrance. Now you must find the courage to enter. Remove the following cards from the base game and replace them with the cards found in this adventure pack. The Skinkling and Goblin, the hid-in passageway and shrine plots, and the boss is Malicia. Special thanks to Joseph Propati, Nicholas, Natiak, and Kevin Sims for helping design the loot cards in this adventure. Oh, that's interesting. I'm just going to go ahead and spoil myself on that. Check these loot cards out. The Whip. When rolling 2 or more dice in combat, if the results are of matching value, you may immediately attack again. I like that. The Boots of Haste. Once per dungeon level, you may attack first during a skirmish. The Undead Mimic. You may avoid this conflict by spending 1 blessing. That's terrifying. I never considered an Undead Mimic. And the Holy Hand Grenade. Discard this card to immediately defeat any foe with 6 or less base health. The Holy Hand Grenade. Awesome. Our character that comes with Malicia's Refuge is Eldra. I have an OC named Eldra. Nice. Her trappings include the Raven Staff and Torch, and her skill is Life Drain. She's mind-based with 9 health, 14 energy, 8 encumbrance, 1 ration, and 3 gold. That skill, Life Drain, before combat begins, you may spend 2 energy to deal d6 damage to your foe while also gaining d6 health. You may not gain blessing tokens. It's a mind-based skill. Those trappings, the Raven Staff, whenever you are able to gain poison, you may choose to lose health of equal value instead. That is quite the trade-off. That's quite the trade-off. You're bringing the poison and health values closer together either way, but it might help you in some way. I don't know. Witch's Bread. Discard this card and all blessing tokens to gain energy equal to the blessing tokens discarded. Wow, that's cool. Complex mechanics. We're going to check out the plot cards next. The Slippery Slope, in which you can climb the massive rock structure. You may perform this action as many times as you wish until you roll a 6. So pushing your luck. But rolling the 6 means you reach the top, gain gold equal to the dungeon level, 1 loot card, and 1 potion card. You can also just walk away. The Winged Statue. Compare your current morality level to the chart below and take to corresponding action. You could lose all of your blessing tokens and health equal to the dungeon level, or if you have a high amount of morality, you can search through the loot deck and take any cards you want, then reshuffle the deck. And the Caged Man, in which you can release the man or slay the man. The enemies in this pack include the Tainted Warrior, of which there are 3, and the Tainted Priest, of which there are 2. These guys are pretty awesome. I like them. Did Malicia cause the taint of these warriors? The lore is so sparse, it can be very easy to just inject your own. Write your own story, I think. And the boss, of course, Malicia. Malicia's damage is modified by your position on the morality track. That's interesting, but I guess it means if you are lower on the morality track, she deals less damage, or if you're higher, she deals more. Are both of these assessments correct? I believe that that's correct. Based on the Winged Statue's expression of the morality track expressed in numbers. Interesting. The holier you are, the more damage she's gonna do. Alright, the terrifying boss, Malicia, will have to be slain before you can advance to our final pack. But that's us, storming Malicia's Refuge. It is time to reveal Iron Helm Adventure Pack number 7, the Spire of Zogar. This is a level 4 adventure and is included with the Iron Chest, the Iron Helm expansion. Spire of Zogar includes 1 instruction card, 1 boss card, 5 plot cards, 6 enemy cards, and 5 loot cards. Our instructions are on the back of this, the Adventure Pack's cover card. This is the final adventure that your aging hero will undertake in order to complete their campaign and retire with enough gold to live out their days in a peaceful pasture, rows of golden wheat and corn, if you can stay alive that long. You can only be spoiled on this once, so spoilers ahead, brave heroes. Dim light shone from the crescent moon as you ascended the final steps to the platform upon the top of the cursed spire. You felt the company of a wicked and dark force. As you gained your footing, your eyes darted back and forth into the shadows formed by the jagged peaks. Your heart sank as a form emerged from the blackness. It was he, the tormentor of your spirit, the tyrant of shadows, Zogar. Remove the following cards from the base game and replace them with the cards found in this adventure pack: the skinklings, the goblins, the wolves, and the flying snakes, and the prisoner, the old woman, and the hid-in plots. Also add all the cards for the beasts and burdens pack to the game, including the affliction cards. The boss is Zogar. There are only 3 decks to explore with this adventure pack, so let's get to the enemies. The possessed are in this pack, as well as the Bone Lord and the Umruss. There are 2 of each of these enemies. Sorry, there are 3 possessed, 2 Umrusses, and 1 Bone Lord. I guess I hoped for more Bone Lords. Next, we'll take a look at the loot. Helgen's Elixir, the Shield of Draining. Once per dungeon level, you may block all initial damage and gain 3 health. Another Helgen's Elixir, the Seer's Blade. When you defeat an enemy with the Seer's Blade, you may reveal the next card in the enemy deck. And the Cultist's Cloak. Once per dungeon level, you may avoid any conflict with an enemy with 5 or less base health. Finally, let's check out the plot cards. The Old Bridge, in which you can lighten your load or test the ropes. This is going to basically be an encumbrance test. The Bone Pile, in which you can search through the pile or ignore the pile of bones. The Trapped Stag, in which you can release the animal or decide that it's time for a feast. The Hovel, in which you can charge in or sneak past. And the Wicked One, in which you can sell your blessings to a mysterious, cloaked figure or walk away. The final card in this adventure pack is the final boss, Zogar himself. But what if I told you I didn't want to reveal this card? What if I told you I'd rather you earn the right to see this one? Technically, you could just follow the link in the description below and you could see all of the cards in their entirety. Okay, fine. Zogar. That's right. He has a lot of health, pretty high attack, and he's immune to holy fire and ice. When he rolls doubles, you lose 2 energy. With this final adventure pack unpackaged, I can finally fill up the rest of my Iron Helm box with the separators that I have. These separators were such a good idea. I really love that the creator thought of putting these in. The cards do still want to fall one way or another, whichever way they're leaning. So I know as soon as I begin a game and I take out my pouches of tokens that they'll all fall forward. So I may have to make my own little compartment so that all this stuff will stay upright. Maybe give it a little bit of allowance so I can pull one of these numbers while I'm looking for a specific deck. But all in all, this is a fantastic presentation for this game. Love this. We'll technically have just a little bit of lid lift as well, since we have to put the random encounters and instruction books in the same box. I don't know if there was much thought put into that, but it's okay because it's really not that noticeable. Iron Helm, solo dungeon crawling game of the decade, I tell you. The Iron Chest box is perfect for holding all of your packaging and all of the old deck separators that come with the base game. The Iron Chest comes with upgraded deck separators and all of your skeletons from which you punched out your cardboard tokens. And with that, we have unboxed everything to do with Grey Gnome Games' Iron Helm. We've got a little bit of weight to this now. Now it weighs only 1/10 as much as any other board game in my collection. Thank you so much for watching, brave heroes. I hope you enjoyed these individual videos, as well as the resultant compilation of the whole thing. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and bye for now.